Hello, viewers of Republic. Hello, believers in Republic. And the best way probably to address all of you is as team members of Republic. I'm so happy, so proud today to be bringing you this broadcast from the new Republic headquarters. The new center of the Republic endeavor, the new epicenter of news in the country, and what will, without doubt, in months, not years, in days, not months, and as soon as possible, with all the effort at our command, the center of news, the epicenter of news for the entire world. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have put together today in what is undisputably Asia's largest news complex, Asia's singularly largest newsroom, Asia's largest news infrastructure for television and digital, is not just the physical infrastructure, ladies and gentlemen. It is, without doubt, a collective aspiration of a team of journalists and professionals from this country who are convinced about the future of our nation and the role that the news media has to play in taking the vision and the future of our country forward. For a very long time, as I've said in many of the promos that you've been seeing, for a very long time I've been evangelizing the idea of a global network from India, a global news organization. And at the core of this thought has been my belief that instead of talking about how we can do it, it is now time to actually do it. Instead of about saying that if we had the opportunity, if we had the resources, if we had the capital, then we would have put our human capital to good measure, to good use, and we would have achieved something. Ladies and gentlemen, Republic is not the most capital-rich organization. We are a group of journalists after all. But we have, without doubt, clarity of vision. And our vision is this, that if we put our effort together, if we understand our skills in technology, in news production, if we understand that we are not just good in terms of jugaad, but also good in terms of process, and if on top of it, if we can layer all of it with intellectual capital, with hard work, with clarity of enterprise, with positive energy, ladies and gentlemen, positive energy. But more than anything else, envelope all of this, envelope every single effort with this belief in our heart that our nation was always the greatest and is moving towards being a global leader once again. That instead of being a country that has been led by the political and thought processes of our colonizers, that we would set the agenda for the rest of the world. And today, in that congruent moment, when we see our economy rising, when we see our infrastructure building, when we see an aspirational India, but more than anything else, when we see confidence in every Indian we meet, confidence in our collective future, which is markedly different from the distraught nature of world affairs in other parts of the world, then we also say, why wait? Why wait for a tomorrow when tomorrow is here? Why wait to do something in the world of media 4 or 5 years from now when you know that you can do it today? And why, more than anything else, ladies and gentlemen, why hesitate? Why hesitate to dream? Why hesitate to take that next step forward? And that is why we have put together this entire magnificent news complex. One day, many of you watching this program, I hope to walk down the corridors of the Republic News Complex with you and to share with you what has made us put it together. Ladies and gentlemen, we say Republic Rising. What do we mean by Republic Rising? It's not just our story. It's the story of our country, ladies and gentlemen, that is rising through every cynical move, through every negative thought, and through every attempt to pull us down, for we know the future is ours. The Republic Media Network is clear about the nature of our enterprise, and I now want to talk to you a little bit about it. We are clear about our ideology. We are clear about the nature of our enterprise. We are absolutely clear about the direction that the Republic Media Network has to take. We know what we can do, and we know the direction we want to move in. So here are a few things which we keep at the cornerstone of Republic Rising, because from this news complex has to emerge a different nature of news. Ladies and gentlemen, just to tell you a couple of thoughts about Republic Rising. Firstly, Republic as a media organization is today the only completely professionally owned, completely independent news media organization in the entire country. And we believe in being so, we are a league apart, ladies and gentlemen, a league apart. People talk and crib about corporate ownership of news organizations, but we have done what we believed in. We have built a news organization larger, bigger, more impactful, with more reach, with more impact than any of the corporate-owned news organizations in this country, ladies and gentlemen. I can say that with pride today, and you know it. And we have done so with a clear agenda of journalistic independence. At the core of journalistic independence is not a statement but a belief that if a news organization can be financially independent, then it is editorially independent. People disagree with my view on it, but the fact is the Republic Media Network does not depend on anyone, does not need anyone's patronage when it has your support. So point number one, we are a truly independent and large news media organization. The second point is, ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very ambitious about where we want to go. This news media complex where I'm broadcasting from today is testament to our ambition. Every bit of infrastructure in this organization, every part of this organization is world-class. The technology that we have put into this setup is beyond the best of global standards. And yes, we put our money where our mouth is. We've not talked about doing something on a global scale. We are achieving something, ladies and gentlemen, on a global scale. Swadeshi intent, Bharatiya thought, and the best of global standards all put together in one. And we are very ambitious. We believe that we will be the largest news media organization of the world's largest democracy. That is absolute, clear, unfiltered belief in my mind, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why you will see this is only one of the many studios that we have in this complex, and each studio is different. Each studio has been designed by the best in the world, by the best in the business. And they have told us that what we put together at the Republic Media Network complex is truly, in a way, uncomparable. It is a class apart. The third point is, ladies and gentlemen, about the digital wave that is to come. The future is not print. You will be consuming a lot of news on digital and television. Today we are growing at about 25% every 2 months on digital, which means we are destined, ladies and gentlemen, to be the largest digital news media organization of the country, both on video and text. Many of you have missed us on the digital medium, and many of you ask me when I go to airports, when I meet you elsewhere, that, oh no, we see you on television. Why don't you move into digital? Why are you not available on our phones? And I assure you, I promise you that very, very soon, wherever you go, you'll have the surround sound effect, and Republic will be there with you. That is why we have invested in a wonderful, wonderful VFX AR, VR studio, which we'll unveil over the next few days. That is why we have with us a tremendous studio where hundreds of people can sit together and listen to newsmakers in one platform within this complex. That is why from here we'll be broadcasting from the truly, truly interactive new news studios of Republic Bharat. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, from these studios, from these premises, we are building a massive global news studio. We've already built, and I'm happy to share with you, we have already built the physical infrastructure for a global news organization from Asia's largest news complex here in the National Capital Region. And I feel proud that we've been able to do that. But most importantly, I want to now speak to you about my team. I want to talk to you about those who've made it happen. And I want to tell you that for a very long time, ladies and gentlemen, journalists and people who create the content have been undermined in this country. And that has been the problem with many people who have run news media organizations. Let me be blunt. People who know nothing about news have run down journalists. People who know nothing about content have tried to teach content to the best content creators. And people who don't know the grammar of news have tried to speak down to people who do the news, to reporters, editors, and producers. I made a vow the day we launched Republic that we may not have the money, but we have the human talent and the clarity of enterprise. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, that when you add your belief to all those ingredients, what the sum total is. The fundamental premise of Republic is not to run down people who are not journalists, but to tell people to respect journalists, to respect content creators, to respect producers, to respect editors, to respect news editors, to respect the people who run news desks in this country. But most importantly also, and the message should go home to all who are watching this tonight, and I am saying this clearly so the message goes out to them, never to conspire against journalists because they do not have the ingenuity or innovation of effort to compete with them. Viewers, 3 years back, 3 to 3.5 years back, there was a determined, malicious attempt, a vexatious attempt, a sinister attempt, an ominous attempt, but more than anything else, a lowbrow attempt to try and extinguish the flame called Republic. Today, from these studios, from Asia's largest newsroom, from an organization that reaches the hearts of every Indian in this country, and wherever I go, when people recognize and tell me how much Republic is part of a life, of their life, I consecrate this effort of my team to the people of this country. And I promise and vow from this studio, from these news headquarters, to create with my team a new parallel, ladies and gentlemen, in the production and creation of news. And I can't tell you how remarkable my team is, how much they've stood by me. So many thought that when we went through troubled times, when there were thousands of FIRs against us, when they put me in jail, when they tried to conspire against this organization, they thought my team would break. But no, ladies and gentlemen, when professionals are challenged, when they are challenged to their core, when they are humiliated to the extreme, and then when they are pushed to the wall, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank all the people who tried to push us to the wall. All those who tried to push us to the wall, because you made us believe in ourselves that much more. Nothing can break Republic now. And we began to believe in our destiny, and that's when we began to ask ourselves the question, why wait for tomorrow when tomorrow is here? A very personal thought, ladies and gentlemen, that when we were challenged, when we were spoken down to, it is that when we started to bring the future forward. And we are completely convinced it is not a dream to build a global news organization from the soil of this country. That is our destiny. And when you're clear about your destiny, you will take baby steps towards it, if nothing else, on a daily basis. These may be drops in the ocean, but when they filter through the sieve of human innovation, when they filter through the sieve of clarity of thought, then those baby steps amount to a lot more. And you know, viewers, I believe in the domino effect. If you're watching me today, I know there will be a domino effect of this. I was told, why did you say in Moscow, before those who run BBC and CNN, why did you say in Moscow that India will be the place from where the hegemony of Western media will end? And the reason I said it, because I knew that thought would filter through and someone would be inspired by it. And I don't care beyond a point if I'm not the first person to do it, as long as it is done. Because this country completely deserves, and deserves now more than ever, a global news media organization. And when I walk through the passages of the Republic Media Network, when I meet all those, many of whom are still wearing, the construction caps, walking around my newsroom because it's still being finished up, and I see the smile in their heart and on their faces, I know that they feel they are buzzing with energy because they knew there's a different future which will be created from, yes, Aditi, I will, please. They know that from this news studio, we will be building a global news organization. So if you go around my organization today, if you go around my newsroom, you will find a lot of people going across and seeing parts of where the global news media organization will be built from. Viewers, at the core of everything is Republic TV. 2017, May 6th. Today we are 7 years young. And so many of you have wished us happy birthday. They say you must give a return gift when someone wishes you happy birthday. Our return gift to you, dear viewers of Republic, is Republic Rising. An all-new Republic, relaunched with the same energy, with the same effort, and with the same belief in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Republic Rising on behalf of my entire team. And I look forward to seeing you tonight on Super Primetime Max at 8 p.m. One of the biggest stories of the day are the sensational allegations of Radhika Khera, spokesperson and she's been Congress Party's media coordinator, and she's made some sensational charges against the Congress Party and what's been happening within. She's trending everywhere today. Radhika, thank you for joining us on Republic. You have said that you gave 22 years of your life to the Congress Party. It's a long period. And you said that just because I visited Ayodhya, and just because I am Hindu, and just because I am a follower of the Sanatan Dharma, I was not given justice. Take us briefly through the ordeal. What really was it? Can you specify a bit more?
Thank you, Arnab, for having me on your show. And we've never been allowed to talk to you. See, there are some rules that as a Congress say that I had to follow. Fortunately, I'm no longer a part of that team. So when I visited the Ram Mandir,
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Yeah.
Yeah. When I paid my respects at the Ram Mandir. I took my family. After that very day, the Congress party started, telling me that I was going the wrong way. They started saying that I was anti the ideology of the party and I should not have visited the Ram Mandir. I should not have posted pictures. So they were completely against it, and they started they stopped sending me on shows. They stopped giving me responsibilities, and continuously I was being targeted for going to the Ram Mandir. And they kept saying that you're in touch with the Bharatiya Janata Party. If I would wear an orange dress to the Congress office, everyone would come and tell me, oh, you're joining the BJP. If I would write anything related to Ramji, or I welcomed the decision of the court also, and I welcome the fact that an entire the way during the Murthy Sthapna, the entire thing that was being done, that event, even that time I was told that I was in touch with the Bharatiya Janata Party. So anyone who believes in Lord Ram, anyone who believes in any Hindu god for that matter, for the Congress party, is an agent of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is very sad, because when you stand by the constitution, when you call yourselves Rakshaks of the Samvidhan, and you blame the Bharatiya Janata Party or any other party for that matter that कि ये संविधान को ख़त्म करने की बात कर रहे हैं, तो आप स्वयं जो संविधान कहता है कि आप सेक्युलर हैं या आप कोई भी अपना धर्म किसी भी धर्म को फॉलो कर सकते हैं, आप उसी का उल्लंघन कर रहे हैं और अपनी ही पार्टी में लोगों को रोक रहे हैं कि वो राम का नाम ना ले। राम के नाम से इतनी चिढ़ होगी, मैंने अपने जीवन में नहीं सोचा था। और उसके बाद एक षड्यंत्र रचा गया। It was a pre-planned thing that since they could not find fault with my work, they had to come up with a plan to make me leave the party. I was insulted, I was abused, and I was misbehaved with, manhandled in the Congress office. Inside the Congress office of Chhattisgarh Pradesh Congress Karyalay, and 3 men locked up the room from inside for almost a minute and a half. And I kept screaming and shouting. I had to run from there. My BPM went up to 154. I had to be taken to the doctor after that. I cried and cried and cried. And I called up every senior leader. From the first call I made was to Sachin Pilot ji. I called up Jairam Ramesh ji. I called up Pawan ji. I called up Bhupesh Baghel ji. I called up his associate Vinod Verma ji, who used to manage everything earlier over there. And no one helped me. Either most of the people did not pick up the phone, and the ones who did, they kept coming up with excuses. I was asked to shut up. I was asked not to raise this issue. I was asked to completely keep quiet and ignore it. And they will think about it after the 7th. They wanted me to put it under the carpet and completely forget about it. When I started raising my voice, and I say this with great responsibility, there was only one person in the entire Congress party who had a spine. The others, right from Rahul Gandhi ji to Priyanka Gandhi ji to Kharge ji to Jairam Ramesh ji to Sachin Pilot, they are all spineless. The only man who stood by and tried to take some action was Mr. Pawan Kheda ji. But unfortunately, he has no powers and he could not do anything. So justice could not be served. And Arnab, what is really sad is that when something like this happens, it happens, maybe if something like this tomorrow happens in Republic, for example, I'm sure that you would send a show cause notice to both the parties. No show cause notice was sent for 7 days. I kept waiting. And when I raised this issue with Jairam ji after 3 days when he had the time, I was shouted at and screamed that I'm taking it the wrong way. And that, and then he said, oh, we'll send him a show cause notice. Now I said after 5 days, and yet they have not sent him a show cause notice. No action has been taken. Today, after my press conference, the state president of Chhattisgarh Congress has made that man sit next to him again and done a press conference. So you see that man continues to do press conferences with Pawan Kheda ji. He continues to do press conference with Gurdeep Sappal ji, with Alok Sharma ji, and the state PCC president. And no action has been taken.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but Radhika, if I can ask you to sum up what was your basic charge out here? We need to be clear, because there is often in these cases an attempt is made to dilute the charge itself. Right? So I want you to be clear, when you spoke to Sachin Pilot or you spoke to others, what was the charge? I mean, were you making the charge of sexual harassment, molestation? What was your specific charge which you had made to these leaders?
Arnab, when Rahul Gandhi ji was here in Chhattisgarh for his Nyaya Yatra, at that time, the same men had offered me alcohol. They had knocked on my door in the middle of the night, called me up and continuously offered me alcohol and said नहीं नहीं हम आपके कमरे में शराब पहुंचा देते हैं आप बता दीजिए, and I continuously said that I don't want anything, and I raised that issue with Sachin Pilot ji, Jairam Ramesh ji, who was present at the yatra, as well as the state Congress president. Now after that the same thing happened when I was locked up in that room. I continuously raised the thing that he has regularly been harassing me, and it is in front of you. I have not, I don't know what the intention of those three people were by locking me up for 1.5 minutes. I leave that to everyone.
Locking you up inside the room, they were inside the room, or locked you up inside the room with them?
Why would 3 men lock up a woman for 1.5 minutes?
Locked you up inside the room with them, or locked you up inside the room?
Is a question I want to ask them. I was abused with the... Huh? I can't hear you.
Locked up inside the room with them, or locked up from the outside of the room by these Congress leaders?
Inside the room with them. So Sushil Anand Shukla started hurling the nastiest of abuses at me. I have never even heard those kind of abuses. He started shouting at me. He started abusing me. And then when I screamed and I said that I asked the staff over there to call the General Secretary organization, Sushil Anand Shukla did some ishara and he got those 2 other men to lock the door from inside. So I was locked inside a room by 3 men for about 1.5 minutes inside the Congress office. And I kept screaming and crying. And till date,
so
no action has been taken.
This is a case of then would it be fair for me to describe what happened to you as a case of extreme sexual harassment and sexual intimidation?
See, I don't know what the intention was, and I say it with great responsibility that no one touched me. But they did not let me leave the room. They stood in front of the door. They kept abusing me. What the intention was, I don't know. I picked up my phone and I said everything is being recorded. So that scared them a little, and I screamed and shouted and I pushed them and I tried to run out, and that's how I got out. What the intention was, what would have happened, I don't know. But fortunately, thank God, Ramjeet stood by me, Krishnji stood by me, and I was saved. And
was this a follow-up? Was this a follow-up to your going to the Bhavya Ram Mandir? Would you, in your mind, draw a link between the two?
Everything
that because you went to the Ram Mandir, this
so,
is what they did to you?
Yes. Yes, after I went to the Ram Mandir, I was continuously targeted and told that I am a part of the BJP, I am in touch with the BJP, and that they stopped sending me for debates. They would not give me responsibilities as a national media coordinator. Every time I would ask them for something or speak to them, I was insulted regularly. And this was done by Jairam Ramesh and his team continuously. And I was always pulled up for being too Hindu. I was told to take it easy, not to go to the temple. You know, I would sit with the tilak most of the times on my debates. I was asked not to do that. I was asked not to wear orange colored clothes when I would go to a debate. So I was harassed continuously, but I didn't know that hatred would turn into something so vile, and that they would, you know, come up with a plan to, you know, and we've seen it, it's happened. It's not the first time an incident like this has happened against a woman in a Congress office. We saw a few months back what happened to Archana Gautam ji, who has contested on a Congress ticket, has been a favorite of Priyanka Gandhi ji, and she was beaten up by goons sent by Priyanka Gandhi ji at the AICC headquarters in Delhi. These things happening in our Congress office is a matter of concern, and every time any of us, you know, raise our voice or we pick it up with Rahul Gandhi ji, Priyanka Gandhi ji, Khadge ji, or the senior leadership, no nyaya is given. They talk about Mahila Nyaya, they talk about Nyaya to Karnataka, Manipur and everything, but what about the women in your own party? लड़की हूँ, लड़ सकती हूँ वाली लड़ाई की खुद के घर की लड़कियों से है क्या प्रियंका गांधी जी की, कि लड़कियों को पीटो, कमरे के अंदर बंद करो?
What's the Priyanka Gandhi link here?
See, the man, Sushil Anand Shukla, is a man of the former Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel, who has just been made in charge of Rai Bareli elections, and he is the one, when I called him up, and I said, sir, I spoke to him for 3 minutes. I told him about the entire ordeal. And I said, this is what has happened with me. And he said, tum Chhattisgarh chhod do. This was the answer to my complaint after I was harassed and locked up in the room. The former Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel said, tum Chhattisgarh chhod do. So it made very clear that it was an entire conspiracy to throw me out of Chhattisgarh because they could not find fault with my work. And then when I wrote to Priyanka Gandhiji's office, Rahul Gandhiji's office, nobody took action. Only Alankar Savaiji messaged me back saying, have you picked up this issue with Jairamji? I said, yes, I have. And after that, again, there was silence. I kept requesting for time. I kept requesting that I want to please raise this issue. In fact, Priyanka Gandhiji visited Chhattisgarh also 2 days after that. She follows me on Twitter, Arnab. She just follows about 200 odd people in Congress. So she can't say that, oh, my staff didn't tell me. She follows me on Twitter. The whole news was covering it. I tweeted and requested कि अगर आपको मेरी बात नहीं मिली, आप मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम प्रभु श्री राम के ननिहाल छत्तीसगढ़ आ रही हैं, लड़की हूँ, लड़ रही हूँ, मेरे साथ न्याय कीजिए. भूपेश बघेल उनकी मदद कर रहे हैं. But as always, Priyanka Gandhi stood in front of Bhupesh Baghel like a rock and ensured that nothing happens to Bhupesh Baghel or his people and no action is taken. And someone who is protecting the accused is made in charge of Rahul Gandhiji's Raebareli election. Obviously, everyone knows the money has to come from there, the money from the coal scams, from Mahadev app. Obviously, there is some link to it. That is why he is being protected by the Gandhi family.
You're saying that Bhupesh Baghel provides money to the Congress leadership? And that is why...
Absolutely. Why else is he and his man being protected? Why else is his main man? And you know, what is surprising is that I raised this question again and again with the Congress party, that Sushil Anand Shukla, the person who we are talking about here, has continuously been working against the party. He is ensuring that since Bhupesh Baghel ji is not at the helm of affairs in Chhattisgarh, Congress party should not do well. And there were reports that Congress party is getting better seats than ever in Chhattisgarh. And Bhupesh Baghel ji could not digest that. So he could not accept the fact that when Sushil Anand Shukla was working against the party, how could a Radhika Kheda come and ensure that the media was managed properly and work was being done? So that backlash came to me. So it was a pre-planned thing. And then the entire leadership backing Bhupesh Baghel ji and his man Sushil Anand Shukla. Can you imagine 7 days and till date a show cause notice has not been issued?
You also said they are themselves humiliating women at their homes. Rahul Gandhi didn't used to meet anyone. He likes travel vlogging, so he was travel vlogging. They are themselves humiliating women in their homes. Can you elaborate on that?
Arnab, what happened to me first, the first incident that happened with these people of offering me alcohol happened during the Nyay Yatra. I raised this up with Rahul Gandhiji's team. I raised this with Jairam Rameshji, who was a part of the Yatra continuously, Sachin Pilotji, who was the in charge, as well as the State President Deepak Baij, and also Bhupesh Baghelji. I raised all these concerns with them, and yet no action was taken. A man offering a woman alcohol, knocking at her door in the middle of the night in Korba is not acceptable. But yet everyone remains silent. Rahul Gandhiji never used to meet anyone. He would come for the Nyay Yatra, travel in his car, wave at a couple of people and go back to his trailer. The party was spending lakhs and crores of rupees on his Yatra. Yet he had no time to meet the office bearers, or he never sat down with any of the Congress leaders. And you know, the worst part was that he would call people, oh, there's going to be a photo session, stand in line, sabke saath photo khichi, 1-2 minutes and done. That is the only interaction that he had with the local leaders. A leader, he is not the Congress president anymore and he still has no time. He would be locked up in his trailer the whole day. His trailer was kept aside. His trailer was not with everyone else. The other yatris were kept elsewhere. This was like everybody's achut. If he would not interact with anyone, what kind of Nyay Yatra are you on if you would not meet your own people?
What made you snap now? What made you snap now? I mean, what was that you gone public, you snapped now?
I'm not snapping, I'm waiting. I've been waiting for...
Yeah, so what made you... Okay, let me put it differently. What made you decide to go public now?
Long nights and days. 6 long days and nights, Arnab, I waited for the party to take action. I wrote to them, I tweeted, I spoke to them, I begged, I cried. Right from Rahul Gandhi ji to Priyanka Gandhi ji to Khadge ji to Jairam Ramesh ji to Pawan ji to Sachin Pilot ji to Bhupesh Baghel ji to Deepak Baij ji.
You have those letters that you sent to Priyanka Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi? You have those letters with you?
When I told them that I'm going to the police. Yes, I have, everything is on record and only it's, and I tweeted also. And it, you know, when I finally said that I'm going to take this to the police and I'm going to file a complaint, it was only then that Pawan Kheda ji wrote to the PCC president and said that, you know, give us a report. So the state president called me And I went to meet him. I took my mother to the office and I went to the Chhattisgarh Pradesh Congress office and I spoke to him. And when I reminded him of the complaints that I have regularly been making against this man of harassment, you know the thing that he asked me, आप शराब पीती है? अरे थोड़ी तो पीती होंगी, कभी कभी तो पी लेती होंगी. That was his way. जो न्यायाधीश बन के कुर्सी पे बैठे हैं वो मुझे ये बोल रहे हैं आप थोड़ी तो पी लेती होंगी. मैं शराब पीती हूँ नहीं पीती हूँ. How does that give the man Sushil Anand the right to knock at my door in the middle of the night, to offer me alcohol, to abuse me, to lock me up in a room for 1.5 minutes? Does that give him a right? And what kind of a question was that? कि आप शराब पीती हैं, आप शराब तो पीती होंगी. That is how a report is being made.
Since you've gone public,
until date, no report has been submitted. He was given 24 hours. No report has been submitted. No action has been taken. Like I said, that man continues to sit on stage with Gurdeep Sappal ji, Pawan Kheda ji, the PCC chief, everyone, and continues doing press conferences while I follow every rule of the organization. I kept quiet. That man continuously addressed the media, continuously assassinated my character. Still, I was told by the state president not to speak to the media. I maintained my dignity. I kept quiet for 6 days.
Earlier,
and I put in my papers yesterday, Arnab.
Yeah.
Nobody has contacted me.
Has anyone contacted you since then?
Nobody has spoken to me. That not one person has called me and spoken to me. No. So, one person did come to my house. So this woman, Neta D'Souza ji, who's the former Mahila Congress Adhyaksh, she did come to my house. I was not there yesterday. But she's the same woman. When I raised the issue in front of her and I told her, Didi, you were the Mahila Congress president. This has happened with me. She screamed at me and she asked me to keep quiet and that the party is bigger than me and that I should not raise my voice. घर में भी जब शादी होती है तो हमको चुप रहना पड़ता है अगर ऐसी कोई घटना हो जाती है. राधिका, पार्टी तुमसे बड़ी है. No, you cannot behave like this. And she shouted at me and then she tried to come and do a, I don't know with what intention she came to my house tomorrow and pretended in front of my family and told my mother and my sister that, I didn't know anything about this. Such lies from the lowest to the senior most people. Not one senior leader or anyone called me and said that we will do an investigation, we will look after this, we will send him a notice. The first and most minimum thing that a party can do is send a show cause notice to both the parties. No action was taken, no inquiry was done.
Are you filing an FIR?
I am speaking with my lawyers on the same and I'm going to go ahead with whatever my lawyers suggest. But I am definitely going to ensure that the fight that I have been in for the past 22 years, I will continue fighting that. जब मैं लोगों के न्याय की लड़ाई की बात करती हूँ और अपने लिए न्याय नहीं ला सकती तो फिर मैं कैसे लोगों की आवाज़ बनूंगी. And I know that I have been humiliated, I have been एक षड्यंत्र का मैं शिकार हुई हूँ क्योंकि मेरी सिर्फ इतनी सी गलती थी कि मैं प्रभु श्री राम लल्ला के दर्शन करके आई हूँ, अयोध्या धाम होकर आई हूँ. तो मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि प्रभु श्री राम ही मेरे साथ न्याय करेंगे.
Radhika, why are so many spokespersons quitting the Congress people from the media department?
See, that is a question. When you are, Arnab, we were continuously told to target the Bharatiya Janata Party की संविधान वाली बात को उठाओ, आप कर्नाटक के इशू पे घेरो. And continuously we were told that we have to create a narrative that वो संविधान को ख़त्म कर रहे हैं, वो आरक्षण को ख़त्म कर रहे हैं. There is only so much that one person can take when you have to, when there are false narrative is what you have to take up. And all of us have been following the party's orders and going by the party line. But end में राम जी तो सबके हैं ना, सबके आराध्य हैं और सब हर हिंदू का पूरे विश्व भर में अरबों हिंदुओं के ये इंतजार था कि राम मंदिर बने. And then when the party took such a stand against the Ram Mandir, and I was very vocal about it. I was very vocal about the fact that the party should not have written a letter like that, and we should have ensured that all of us go to Ram Mandir. Why are we made to feel like अछूत क्योंकि हम राम मंदिर जाना चाहते हैं? क्यों कोई भी एक आपकी पार्टी का ऑफिस बेरर डरे राम मंदिर जाने से? जब लोगों को डर लगता है तो प्रभु श्री राम और उनके सबसे बड़े उपासक हनुमान जी का नाम लिया जाता है, लेकिन ये पार्टी तो हमें राम का नाम लेने के लिए डराती है.
इसमें जुड़ा एक सवाल है कि एक होती है पॉलिटिकल पोजीशन, जो भारतीय जनता जो कांग्रेस कहती है कि हम प्राण प्रतिष्ठा पे नहीं गए क्योंकि हमें लगा कि वो एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का फंक्शन है, उस तरह की बात उन्होंने की. और दूसरी बात है जो निजी स्तर पर वो किसी का हिंदू होना, किसी की अपनी जो फॉलोइंग है, अपने जो रिलीजियस विचार हैं, उसको दबाने की बात हो रही है। आप ये कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस पार्टी में बताया जाता है कि ज्यादा अपने आप को हिंदू या सनातनी दिखाने की कोशिश मत करो, लाइक यू आर टोल्ड टू डाउन प्ले your being a Hindu. You said you were told not to wear certain colors. You were told not to wear a tikka on your head. This must also extend to the way you are to be within the party.
Yes.
So if you are talking about
Yes,
your Hindu
absolutely.
faith within the Congress party circles, it's not going to help you. Is that the kind of sense you got?
See, Arnab, when you talk about secularism and you talk about संविधान की रक्षा, the संविधान हर हमको हक देता है कि हम किसी भी धर्म को अपना सकते हैं और उस धर्म के चलते हम अपनी आराधना पूजा कर सकते हैं. When you join a political party, you don't join a political party because of religion. You join because of ideology. And forever, when I joined the Congress party, I never believed when people would say कि अरे ये हिंदू विरोधी हैं. I never used to believe. I used to have a fight at my own house also sometimes. You know, when certain things would come up and they would say कि देखो ये धर्म के विरोधी हैं, तुम क्या कर रही हो? And I used to always put my foot down and fight on national debates also कि नहीं, हम धर्म के विरोधी नहीं हैं. जिस पार्टी में महात्मा गांधी जैसे लोग, सबसे बड़ा नेता कांग्रेस पार्टी के महात्मा गांधी जी रहे हैं, जब वो थे तो हमारी पार्टी के हर प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत रघुपति राघव राजा राम से होती थी. वो पार्टी रामलला के कैसे विरोध हो सकती है? एंड आई ऑलवेज सेड दैट वी शुड रेज दिस इशू दैट राजीव गांधी जी वाज द वन हु ओपन्ड द द्वार्स ऑफ द राम मंदिर. बट नहीं, आई वाज टोल्ड टू कीप शट एंड नेवर पुट अप दैट पॉइंट एज अ स्ट्रैटेजी एंड नेवर रेज दैट पॉइंट. सो व्हाट वर यू ट्राइंग टू डू? राम तो सबके है ना, तो आप राम जी को सिर्फ भारतीय जनता पार्टी का क्यों बना रहे हैं? राम जी तो सबके हैं, हिंदू तो कांग्रेस पार्टी में भी है ना.
Very fundamentally, my question to you is, Radhika, when you look back now, is it difficult being a Hindu within the Congress party?
Yes, it is a difficult being a Hindu in the Congress party. You cannot be a Hindu. And you know, Arnab, I'll share.
You cannot be a Hindu. Can you elaborate?
If I have a minute with you. So there's. So, you know, I have always raised my voice against some Dharam gurus like Ram Rahim when he had fought it, and I was, मतलब जिसे कहते हैं ना, बहुत loud voice थी मैं against all these people who were misleading the Hindus. So just recently, you know, I posted a video on my Instagram where there was this pastor who was throwing water from Bisleri on some women and they started jumping, and I made fun of it, and I picked up that issue that another person is showing, you know, this is again धर्म के नाम पे लोगों को आगे बढ़ाना. I was pulled up by the same Neta D'Souza who was doing a press conference today and told that the senior leadership is very angry. Some pastor has called her up and that the Congress is anti-Christian and that I should not raise this issue of someone making a fool of people. So I should raise the issue of Ram Rahim when my party sends me on the debates. I should raise the issue. I should go against. I remember most of the. Forgetting the Dham from Madhya Pradesh, very popular Hindu Dharm Guru Bageshwar Dham जी, सबके अगेंस्ट राधिका खेड़ा बोले डिबेट पे. लेकिन जब वही असलियत हम किसी और धर्म गुरु के बारे में दिखा रहे हैं कि वो बिस्लरी का पानी छिड़क के लोगों को बेवकूफ़ बना रहे हैं, तो भाई आप क्रिश्चियन के खिलाफ हो गए, आप हिंदू धर्म के फेवर कर रहे हैं, आप एक धर्म के विरोधी हो गए, तब बहुत चुभी. लेकिन हमें बाकी धर्म के गुरुओं के खिलाफ बोलना है, सिर्फ क्रिश्चियन के खिलाफ नहीं बोलना है, मुसलमान के खिलाफ नहीं बोलना है, आपको सिर्फ हिंदुओं के खिलाफ बोलना है. ये लाइन पार्टी की थी हमेशा से, और मेरे पास वो मैसेज में भी है जब मुझे ये कहा गया दैट द लीडरशिप इज वेरी एंग्री ऑन दिस.
ये आपने बहुत बड़ी बात कही. This is you know that you have to downplay your being a Hindu. So this is completely a new thing. So you put up with it. Are you saying other spokespersons put up with it? Other leaders put up with it? What about Digvijay Singh, who says that
all of us were
he's a Sanatani when he's on the election field, but outside he speaks a different language, he does the Osama ji talk. What about those people? Or Kamal Nath for that matter?
Exactly, and there were times when we would always request the senior leadership, why are we not pulling up these people? Why no action is being taken against these people who are continuously denting the party? Our party is being showed as an anti-Hindu party. And when when you talk about being Brahmins yourself, how can you show yourself to be anti-Hindu? And if you're secular, why are you anti-Hindu or anti-Muslim or pro-Hindu or pro-Muslim? You should be secular. When you talk about संविधान तो secular रहने की बात करता है. You blame that the भारतीय जनता, you want us to pick up this narrative कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी संविधान विरोधी है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी मुसलमान विरोधी है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी आरक्षण विरोधी है, when actually you are the ones who are against Ambedkar ji and his constitution, because you're not being secular. You have a problem if a office bearer is a Hindu. You have a problem if your office bearer is Ram ka naam le rahe hai. It is very clear, and there is only so much that one person can take, but we kept taking it. But जब बारी आए न्याय की, आपने वो गलती, क्योंकि आपको वो गलती लगती है कि मैं राम का नाम लेती हूं, तो आपने उसको इतना बड़ा बना दिया, इतनी घृणा आपको राम जी से, कि जब वो लड़की के साथ अन्याय हुआ, आपने उसको न्याय देने से मना कर दिया.
Last point, you said sexual harassment / molestation or whatever, sexual intimidation, though you have not used those words. You're saying these kind of things are commonplace within the Congress party. Because there have been cases before of other people, other spokespersons who've also quit, saying that they were treated in that manner, which was inappropriate. And as a woman, they couldn't take it. So, Radhika?
Arnab, this is not the first time it has happened. Priyanka Chaturvedi ji, she was harassed, attacked and touched and whatnot. She wrote a letter. She had to, those people were not suspended. They were reinstated from the party. They were given a ticket. Everything happened. She had to leave the party. Ankita Datta, she complained against harassment by B.V. Srinivas. She was thrown out from the party. No action was taken against B.V. Srinivas. Archana Gautam was harassed in Chhattisgarh by Priyanka Gandhi ji's personal secretary, and then later Priyanka Gandhi ji sent goons to 24 Akbar Road, the main Congress headquarter. हमारे लिए हमारे राष्ट्रीय ऑफिस, हमारा प्रदेश का ऑफिस, कांग्रेस का ऑफिस मंदिर होता है. राहुल जी वो कहते थे ना, मंदिर में लोग छेड़ने जाते हैं, वो अपनी ही पार्टी की बात कर रहे थे कि जो मंदिर में लोग छेड़ने जाते हैं वो कांग्रेस के मंदिर में उन्हीं के कार्यकर्ता अपनी ही कार्यकर्ता को छेड़ते हैं, कमरे में बंद करते हैं, उन पे हाथ उठाते हैं. बिल्कुल सही कहा था उन्होंने, वो इस मंदिर की बात कर रहे थे.
तो आपने तो 3 लोगों की नाम लिया, so in a way you are the 4th person within the Central Congress leadership circles.
There are many more.
There may be many,
not
but
everyone has that, you know, हिम्मत नहीं होती है कहने के लिए, एक महिला के लिए आके ये बात बताना. जब मैंने अपनी ये बात उठाई अर्नब, तब मेरे को जितना बैकलैश मिला है, ज़रूरी नहीं होता कि हर महिला वो हिम्मत कर सके, लेकिन मैं उम्मीद करती हूँ कि हम लोगों के संघर्ष के बाद पार्टी में जिन जिन महिलाओं के साथ ऐसा हुआ है वो अपनी आवाज़ उठा सकेंगे. एंड आई एम श्योर दे आर मेनी, क्योंकि उस ऑफिस में मुझे ये भी पता चलता था कि कई पत्रकार आके बताते थे कि किस तरीके की बदतमीजी होती है वहाँ पे और किस तरीके की अभद्रता होती है. तो वो लगातार होता आया है, पार्टी चुप रही है.
So this would be the 4th case of a publicly known person from the Congress party who has made these kind of allegations. The 4th lady from within the Congress party who's made these allegations, and we're going to be tracking this. Are you still in the Congress, Radhika, lastly? Are you still there? Have you quit the party?
No, I resigned.
You resigned.
And no one called me and asked me कि क्या हो गया बेटा, हम न्याय देंगे.
But you know, now they'll say
Still
that
no
you
one
are,
bothered.
the
No
usual
one
thing is they'll say that you are not significant enough for them to respond on, like they've done that even with Milind Deora in the past, or they'll say that you are disgruntled, that you have your own other reasons for going public right now.
I am not significant, which is why I am insignificant. I am insignificant, Arnab, which is why Rahul Gandhi ji and Priyanka Gandhi ji follow me on Twitter in the 200 odd people they follow. I am insignificant, which is why I am still for more than 7 years a national media coordinator of the Congress party and the only woman in that department. I am insignificant, which is why the Congress party gave me a ticket from Janakpuri and forced me to contest from a seat which I didn't want to contest so that we get that result. I am insignificant, which is why they locked me up in a room, abused me, and God knows what were their intentions were. So the party, for them, the country is insignificant. For them, everything is insignificant. Only 2 people matter, Rahul Gandhi ji, Priyanka Gandhi ji. बाकी तो हम सब insignificant ही हैं. क्या करें?
Radhika, we'll keep tracking where this goes, what reactions there are, but you've been very bold, and I must say you've been very detailed in your response, for which we are grateful. Thank you. Thank you, Radhika Khera there, ladies and gentlemen.